Alexander Crane would never forget the night his life changed forever. Not the night he lost Victoria, but the night he found Elena standing in the rain, shivering, clutching a photograph that should have been impossible to exist. He thought he was saving a stranger, but the truth he discovered 3 days later would destroy everything he believed about his wife's death. Before we begin, I want to thank you for being part of Deep Stories. If you believe that hidden truths always come to light, hit that subscribe button right now. This is a story about secrets, about loyalty, and about a woman who carried the weight of her sister's death for 2 long years. Now let's begin. Alexander Crane had built an empire from nothing. At 45, he was CEO of Crane Enterprises, one of the largest tech companies on the East Coast. He had everything money could buy: a mansion, luxury cars, respect, but none of it filled the void Victoria left behind. 2 years. It had been 2 years since the accident. 2 years since he received that call in the middle of the night. 2 years since he identified her unrecognizable body at the morgue. Victoria, his wife, his world. Officially, it was a car accident, wet road, dangerous curve. She lost control. The car flipped 3 times before it exploded. Alexander accepted that version, because he had no choice, but something inside him never fully accepted it. Victoria was an experienced driver. She knew that road perfectly. And that night she was supposed to be home, not driving 300 miles away. He never understood why, and after 2 years he'd given up trying. It was a rainy Tuesday when he saw her. He was leaving the office late, as always. He was in the parking lot when the storm hit. Thunder, lightning, torrential rain. That's when he saw the silhouette huddled under the awning of the abandoned building across the street. A woman, soaked, shivering. Alexander normally didn't get involved. He wasn't cruel, just practical. There were institutions for this, trained professionals. But something about this woman made him stop. Maybe it was the storm. Maybe it was the loneliness he'd carried for 2 years. Or maybe it was something deeper he didn't yet understand. He grabbed his umbrella and walked toward her. "Excuse me," he said, extending a $100 bill. "There's a hotel 2 blocks from here." The woman lifted her face, and Alexander froze. It wasn't possible. The face, the green eyes, the shape of her chin, the small scar on her left eyebrow. Victoria. Number. Victoria was dead. He'd seen the body, been to the funeral, scattered the ashes. But that face. Victoria, he whispered, his voice breaking. The woman looked at him with confusion. "My name is Elena." Alexander stepped back, his heart racing. It wasn't possible. Twins? Victoria never mentioned having a twin sister. Did you know Victoria Crane?" he asked, barely controlling his voice. Elena went pale. For a second, something passed through her eyes. Fear? Guilt? Recognition? "I don't know anyone by that name," she said, standing up. "Thanks for the offer, but I should go." "Wait!" Alexander grabbed her arm. "Please, you're identical to someone I knew. Please, give me 5 minutes." Elena hesitated. She looked at the rain, at the dark street, at Alexander's hand still holding her arm. 5 minutes, she finally said. Alexander led her to his car, turned on the heater, offered a blanket he always kept in the back seat. "How long have you been on the streets?" he asked. 3 years. "Family?" Elena looked away. "I don't have anyone." "And before that?" "It doesn't matter." That was another life. Alexander studied her face. It was impossible. The resemblance was absolutely impossible. "Victoria Crane was my wife," he said calmly. "She died 2 years ago. You're identical to her." Elena closed her eyes. "I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm not her." "Do you have a sister? A twin sister?" Silence. "Elena?" "I had one," she whispered. "A long time ago. We lost touch." Alexander's heart jumped. "What was her name?" That doesn't matter now. Please. Elena looked at him, tears in her eyes. Victoria. My sister's name was Victoria. Alexander couldn't process it. Victoria had a twin sister, and she never mentioned it. Never talked about family. Always changed the subject when he asked about her past. Why did you lose touch? He asked. Elena stared out the window, rain beating against the glass. We fought. A long time ago. I made wrong choices. She moved on. I got left behind. Victoria died 2 years ago, Alexander said. You didn't know? No. Elena's voice was hollow. We lost touch over 15 years ago. 15 years. An abyss of time. Come with me, Alexander said suddenly. What? To my house. It's raining. You're cold. I have a guest room. You can shower, eat something hot, sleep in a real bed. Elena looked at him suspiciously. Why? You don't know me. You're Victoria's sister. That's enough. It wasn't the complete truth. The truth was more complicated. Alexander needed to understand, needed to know why Victoria never mentioned having a twin sister, needed to discover what she was hiding. Elena hesitated. I don't want charity. It's not charity. It's a chance to know someone Victoria loved. A lie. But it worked. Just for tonight, Elena said. The house was exactly as Elena imagined. Enormous. Cold. Perfect. Alexander showed her the guest room, gave her clean towels, Victoria's clothes that were still in the closet. Elena locked the door and collapsed on the floor. What was she doing? After all these years, she was in his house. In Victoria's house. She pulled out the old cell phone she kept in her pocket. It had only 3% battery. She typed a quick message to a number with no name. Found him. Don't know how long I can keep this up. If something goes wrong, you know what to do. She deleted the message as soon as it was sent. She showered, put on Victoria's clothes, looked in the mirror and saw her sister's ghost staring back. Sorry, Vi, she whispered. But you left me no choice. Alexander prepared something simple. Soup, bread, hot tea. Elena ate in silence. She was starving but tried to hide it. You can eat as much as you want, Alexander said gently. There's more. Elena took another piece of bread, then another. Tell me about Victoria, she said suddenly. What was she like? As a wife? Alexander smiled sadly. She was pure light, smart, funny, stubborn. When she decided something, nothing could stop her. Sounds like her, Elena murmured. What did you fight about? If you don't mind me asking. Elena put her spoon on the table. About choices, about loyalty, about things that can't be undone. Did you regret it? Every single day. Comfortable silence. Rain still beating on the windows. And you? Elena asked. How did you meet Victoria? Alexander smiled. At a tech conference. She was presenting a project. When she finished, she called me an idiot for publicly disagreeing with her. We got married 6 months later. Elena laughed. First genuine laugh in years. That's so Victoria. You remind me of her, Alexander said. Not just physically. The way you laugh. How you furrow your brow when you're thinking. Elena stopped laughing. I'm not her. I know. I'm sorry. Another silence. Can I ask a strange question? Alexander said. Go ahead. Victoria was driving somewhere the night she died, 300 miles from home, alone. I never understood why. Do you have any idea? Elena went pale. How would I know? We lost touch 15 years ago. I know, but she was acting strange that week. Getting phone calls she wouldn't answer in front of me. Going out at night without explanation. It was like she was hiding something. Maybe she was, Elena said calmly. What? Everyone hides something, Alexander. Even the people we love, Elena was supposed to stay one night. She stayed 3 days, Alexander insisted. At least until you get a job. You don't need to go back to the streets yet. Elena agreed, not because she wanted charity, but because she needed time. Time to understand, time to decide, time to find out what he knew. Alexander woke up early and found Elena in the kitchen, making coffee. "You didn't have to," he said. "I know, but I wanted to." They drank coffee in comfortable silence, like an old couple, like Alexander and Victoria used to. "Can I see pictures of her?" Elena asked suddenly. Alexander hesitated, then nodded. "Of course." They went to the study. Alexander opened his laptop, scrolled through files, wedding photos, trips, birthdays, Victoria smiling, Victoria laughing, Victoria alive. Elena watched each photo with painful intensity. "She looked happy," she murmured. "She was, I think." "You think?" Alexander sighed. "In the last few months before the accident, she was different. Distant, like she was carrying a weight she couldn't share." "Did you ask?" "I tried. She always changed the subject, said everything was fine, but I knew it wasn't." Elena touched the screen. A photo of Victoria at the beach, green eyes shining, hair in the wind. "She was protecting you," Elena said calmly. Alexander looked at her. "From what?" "From truths you weren't ready to hear." "What truths?" Elena closed the laptop. "It doesn't matter now." "Elena, I need to go out, look for a job. Remember?" She changed the subject. Alexander let her, but curiosity was growing. Alexander came home late from the office. Found Elena in the garden, staring at the stars. He sat beside her. "When I was 7 years old," Elena began, "Victoria and I had a code. If one of us was in danger, we'd send a signal. We'd blink 3 times quickly. We both knew. We always knew." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because the last time I saw Victoria 15 years ago, she blinked 3 times. Alexander froze. "She was in danger?" "I didn't save her. I left, made wrong choices, ruined everything." "Elena, you asked why we fought. That's why. She needed me and I abandoned her." Tears streamed down Elena's face. "You can't blame yourself." "Yes, I can." Elena stood up. "She died alone on that road. Alone. And I could have been there. I could have." She collapsed. Alexander held her. "It wasn't your fault," he murmured. "You couldn't have known." Elena cried in his arms, like he hadn't cried in 2 years. When she finally calmed down, she looked at Alexander. "I need to tell you something," she whispered. "About Victoria. About that night." Alexander froze. "What?" "She wasn't alone." "What do you mean she wasn't alone?" Alexander stepped back. Elena took a deep breath. She'd kept this for 2 years, but it was time. 15 years ago, Victoria and I worked for a man named Marcus Hale. He ran an organization. Nothing legal. Money laundering, extortion, fake documents. Alexander shook his head. "No, Victoria wouldn't do that." "She did. We both did. We were young, stupid, desperate for money. He offered us a way out. We took it." "This is insane. Let me finish." Elena cut him off. "Victoria was better than me, smarter. She got out first, changed her identity, started over, met you, built a new life." "Then why didn't Victoria ever tell me about you?" "Because I kept working for Hale." "Victoria begged me to leave, but I was stupid, greedy. I thought I'd make more money and then leave. But when I tried to get out, it was too late. Hale wouldn't let me. He said if I left, he'd go after Victoria." Alexander sat down, the world spinning. "You're saying Victoria lived in hiding?" "Yes, changed her name, her past. She wasn't Victoria Crane when you met her. She became Victoria Crane. You made her real." "Why are you telling me this now?" Elena knelt in front of him, eye to eye. Because Victoria didn't die in an accident. Silence. She was murdered. Alexander couldn't breathe. What? 2 years ago, Hale found out where Victoria was. He forced me to track her down. Said if I didn't tell him, he'd kill me and her. I told him. I thought he just wanted money. I thought she'd pay him and he'd leave. Tears streaming. Elena could barely speak. But he didn't want money. Victoria had files, evidence, of everything Hale did for 20 years. She kept them as insurance. Hale found out, sent 2 men after her. The accident, Alexander whispered. It wasn't an accident. They forced her car off the road, then set it on fire. The police thought it was an accident because that's what Hale wanted them to think. Alexander couldn't move. 2 years. 2 years he believed the lie. And you, he said, his voice ice cold, you knew and did nothing? I didn't know they were going to kill her. I swear. When I found out, it was too late. She was already dead. I went to the funeral. From a distance, I saw you, saw your pain, and knew I'd destroyed your life too. You should have gone to the police. And say what? Hale has half the police in his pocket. Who would believe me? A homeless addict with a criminal record? Alexander stood up. Get out! Alexander! Get out of my house! Elena backed away. I know you hate me, but I came here for a reason. What reason? The files. Victoria told me where they are. In the last message she sent before she died. She forgave me, Alexander. Even after everything, she forgave me. And told me where the evidence is. Where? Elena pulled something from her pocket. A small key. Old. Safe deposit box. Central Bank. Victoria told me if anything happened, I should find you, give you the key, and let you decide what to do. Alexander took the key. Why did it take you 2 years? Because I was a coward. I was scared. But when I saw you in that rain, I knew it was time. Victoria sent me to you, Alexander. I know she did. You expect me to believe that? No. But it's the truth. Alexander looked at the key, then at Elena. If you're lying, I'm not. Tomorrow we go to the bank. You'll see. The safe deposit box opened with a click. Inside, flash drive, documents, and a letter. Alexander recognized the handwriting immediately. Victoria. My love, if you're reading this, it means I didn't escape. I'm sorry for not being honest. Sorry for the secrets. But I protected you the only way I knew how. Elena is my sister. I know she made mistakes, but she's a victim too. Please help her. The flash drive has everything. Names, dates, evidence. Give it to reporter Sarah Mitchell. She'll know what to do. I loved every second with you. You gave me a life I never dreamed I could have. Please don't hate me for the secrets. Hate me for leaving you. Forever yours, Victoria. Alexander collapsed. Cried for the first time in 2 years. Elena cried beside him. She loved you, Elena whispered. More than anything. I know, Alexander said. I always knew. 3 months later. Marcus Hale was arrested. The FBI used Victoria's evidence to dismantle the entire organization. 23 people were arrested, including 2 corrupt police officers. Sarah Mitchell published the story, The Woman Who Faced Crime Alone, The Truth About Victoria Crane. Victoria became a hero, posthumously. Alexander created a foundation in her name. Victoria's voice, helping women escape dangerous situations. And Elena? Elena stayed. Not in the mansion. Alexander helped her rent a small apartment, got her a job at a coffee shop. She started therapy, stopped using drugs. She visited Alexander every week. They had dinner, talked, remembered Victoria. It was Victoria's birthday. Alexander went to the cemetery. He found Elena already there, flowers in hand. Hi, she said. Hi. They stood in silence. Then Elena spoke. She saved me, you know. Even after dying, she gave me a reason to keep going, to be better. She saved both of us, Alexander said. Did you forgive her? For not telling you? Alexander thought. Yes. She did what she thought was right, protected the people she loved, including you. And did you forgive me? Alexander looked at Elena. She wasn't Victoria. She never would be. But she was part of her, a piece of the woman he loved. I'm trying. Elena smiled. That's all I can ask. They placed flowers together. As they were leaving, Elena said, Alexander? Yes? Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for telling me the truth. They walked together, two survivors of Victoria, two pieces of a broken life, learning to be whole again. And somewhere, Victoria smiled. What did you think of Alexander and Elena's story? Rate it from 0 to 10 in the comments below. My favorite moment was when Alexander discovered the truth about Victoria's death. What was yours? If you enjoyed this hidden truth story, subscribe to Deep Stories, stories that move you.